feeling? Because I know you've been poorly this weekend. It's not a good place to be feeling poorly.
No, if there's anywhere you don't want to be poorly, it's here. So I'm better today. Yesterday and day before, struggling a little bit. It hit me pretty quickly, but it also went away relatively quickly. So I'm probably not optimal, but no excuses for today.
Certainly the one where you can sweat it out anyway, isn't it?
Sure.
This one.
Sure.
Talk to me then about that qualifying, because I think to people watching, they're expecting McLaren to be back on top a bit more here. So where's that pace missing at the moment?
I mean, different. I think others are just also improving. The Mercedes are doing a very good job. Red Bull, like we've seen, have been very good the last few weekends. So nothing's a surprise. I think the only thing is Singapore has always been a little bit of a weird one, and we know we struggle whenever we struggle with the front tyres. We struggle a lot as a team. The whole weekend we've been struggling with the front tyres, and in the contrary to that, we know that anytime everyone in the grid, like everyone in F1, struggles with the front tyres, like they are this weekend with the new tarmac bits, Mercedes is normally always the team that comes out on top, like Vegas last year, for instance, and things like that. So I think we understand when you put two and two together why we've struggled a little bit, just the front of the car not being strong enough and too much understeer and things like that. Then you have to make compromises, you almost give up rear grip for that, and you just kind of get into a bad area. So we understand it. Making improvements on all these things is the bigger, not worry, but the bigger thing we have to work on. And today makes you feel like no matter, even if we're fighting, we're trying to win the constructors this weekend, 6 rounds early, 7 rounds early, whatever it is. It just feels disappointing that we're not quick enough. That's why it really doesn't matter when you say you dominated one weekend or 2 or 3. When you come here and you're just 3/10 off, you just feel too slow and you don't feel like you've done a very good job. So we clearly have work to do.
Both those teams, funnily enough, bought new front wings this weekend, so they are still developing whatever they can, what's left of 2025. Do you think you're going to have to end up trying to do a bit more of that than you expected to?
It's too late now. Yeah.
Okay, so race pace-wise, you're usually better on a Sunday. Is there potential here, but it's a one-stop, it's tricky. Is there still potential to win this tomorrow?
I think you're asking for a lot.
I always do.
I mean, you got it, and I'm sure I'll go back to my room later and we'll ask, as a team, we'll ask ourselves the same questions. But this track is all about qualifying, and there's always chances in the race, but not many. And if you're starting where we are, normally it's, can you get onto third or second or whatever. But a win, like I saw from me last year, as soon as you're out front, clean air, it's just it's easy. We're not in that position this year, so a lot of work to do tomorrow.
Thanks.
Yeah, as Lando Norris said, a lot of work to do tomorrow, but it's surprising everyone why the McLarens are this kind of slow. Yeah, he said that all week they had a problem with their front tires, but I think they have any other problem that they are not telling to the TVs. It's normal, but. Definitely, I believe that it's impossible to make tomorrow one stop. And as you saw his face, like, I think he will, of course, will try to overtake someone, but to win this race when your front is like Verstappen, Russell, and Oscar Piastri, I think the job is getting more complicated and it's getting more impossible. And I think it's Lando. It's started to think that he lost already drivers' championship this season. We will see what will happen on the other races. But let's say, as I'm saying, always Oscar is going to win this race, and Lando just looked to me much more disappointed than the last races.
Laurent, tough luck. It was looking really good. I think 0.182 off. How much was that? We heard Max. I'm sure you heard him in the. How much was that with the McLaren of Lando in front? A loss.
I think at first it's a very strong qualifying from Max and from the team again. It's good to see some long faces when you do a front row, and of course we feel we will have been quite a lot closer to George without that last corner traffic, but it's life. So I'm not going to tell you that we would have been in front, but for sure Max would have been there or thereabout.
But bigger picture, as you say, how pleasing is it that you've shown that on one of the highest downforce, if not one of the probably the highest downforce on the calendar, the car is there, just like it was on the lower of Baku and Monza?
Look, it's true. You know, the first thoughts are for everyone in Milton Keynes. Everyone has been working so hard to get that car back to life, and that's exactly what they have done. So, okay, we are not on pole today, but as you said, we're able to fight. We were able to fight yesterday. We could feel we were on the right rhythms with the McLaren, with the Mercedes, and fine, there was, I think, five cars in 1/10 at the end of FP3. And, you know, fair enough, we are not on pole today, but we are in that group also on these sort of tracks. Only 2-3 races ago, you know, in Zandvoort, we were not able to be within close range of pole, and it's again a testimony of all the hard work.
Great stuff. Thanks very much. See you tomorrow. Thank you.
Yeah, they found a solution for the Max Verstappen's car, but also they need to find a solution for their second driver, for the Yuki Tsunoda. As you know, he's struggling a lot, but at least they find the solution for the Max Verstappen, and that solution makes them much more optimistic for the team, for their upgrades and the other stuff that will happen for the end of the season. As you know, with this Grand Prix we have 7 Grand Prix, and it will be very interesting to see Max Verstappen one more time again fighting for the pole positions and to be in the mix.
I know you said yesterday how much you'd been looking forward to driving the Ferrari here and seeing what it was like, but what's the reality been like this weekend?
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I felt on it all weekend. I felt good in the car, and you saw Q1 run 1. I was feeling really strong, and I thought that I thought maybe silly of me, but thought that we were fighting for top positions, and then just the way the plan goes and where we end up waiting in the pit lane and losing tire temperature and losing one, kind of using a tire on the outlap but then coming in, then temperature effect, all these different things just add up to not optimizing the sessions. So we'll have to do some work to try and figure out how to optimize the sessions better.
Yeah, I remember speaking to you in Baku after qualifying, and you were on the tyre you didn't want to necessarily be on at the end in Charles, same for him. So how do you, I guess it's just conversations with the team, is it? And you all sit down and look back at the data and try and make sure that doesn't happen again, or you're in a better position next time?
Yeah, I think we'll talk in the background. I think it's just, just have to have a conversation about it and just continue to try and improve the process. I mean, everyone's working as hard as they can. It's just, we need to also look at what the others are doing, because if you look at the Mercedes, they were out first and they didn't lose any tire temperature, and then they're at the front. You know, as we're waiting on turning the car off at the end of the pit lane, just ends up losing 5 or 6 degrees, and it's really hard to get that back on an outlap. And when I got to Q3, I just had nothing. I lost half a second in performance from the tires. So that's frustrating, but nonetheless, I'll try my best tomorrow.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Yeah, maybe they are sacrificing qualifying for the race, for the long race pace to experiment with their tires. I think it's very interesting on this track, on this air temperatures, to not to have optimum tire temperature, to not to get hit tires for one lap, for out lap. It's interesting, and it's a little bit weird for the Ferrari, because, as you know, at practice 1, practice 2, Lewis Hamilton had a very good performances, but today at the qualifying, I think like it was a little bit of disaster. He said that he's enjoying, but I think the Ferrari fans are not enjoying for this kind of results. But as I said, maybe they sacrificed qualifying for the tomorrow's race. We will see what will happen tomorrow with the Ferraris and with Lewis Hamilton.
How to put a pole lap in around this circuit, so tell me why it wasn't there today.
Everything, but starting with the grip. The grip have been very tough to find, and really struggling. to find the grip on this track, which is a shame because normally Baku and here are two of my favorite tracks of the season, two tracks where I'm very strong at, but I've never found the feeling. I have a lot of understeer on the car, but the car is still very snappy and unpredictable, and I know that it's not my strength whenever there's understeer in the car, and this weekend has been the case from FP2 to qualifying, and we don't really find any ways out without making the car even more unpredictable, which is not what you want on a city track. So it's been a very, very tough weekend.
Is that something new in the last couple of races, or have you felt that at other circuits, or is it circuit specific?
I hope it's circuit specific, but for now I don't quite have the explanation, because it's not like we changed massively the car in the last two races, but for some reason the feeling is not good in the last two races. So we'll look back and try to understand where did it start going wrong.
Thank you. Thanks, Charles.
Early disappointed Leclerc. He likes too much this track, and he is very good at this track, but the things is not going that way that he likes. He is struggling a lot. Ferrari is struggling a lot this season. I've never seen Ferrari like this a long time. But let's say you don't have nothing to do, and we'll watch tomorrow what is going to do Ferrari. But I think they don't have car capable to do much more better than this, and the drivers are just counting the days to finish this season and for hoping to have a much more better car next season.
Fantastic lap today. You must be happy?
Yeah, no, I'm happy. I'm
Buzzing?
happy. It's no, it's been a very strange weekend. I've been struggling, haven't been confident with myself, the car, and I knew there's a lot of pace in the car. You know, Kimi's been doing such an amazing job this weekend, but you know, by the end of qualifying, when you get those, couple of sets of tyres underneath your belt and you can build that confidence, I felt good come Q3, and 2 laps for pole was nice.
You seem quite subdued about it. I know it's not a win, it's pole, but it's the first pole Mercedes have had around here since 2018.
I mean, this place has been hasn't been my friend in the years gone by, and of course, being on pole position is an amazing result. But this has been a track that has bitten me on numerous occasions in the past. So I'm not getting carried away with myself, to be honest. I'm really pleased, of course, of the car's performance. I think we're all quite surprised at McLaren's lack of performance, because if I were to bet, I wouldn't have bet that we would have been more competitive than them this weekend. But, of course, the race is tomorrow. It's going to be tough, but I'm feeling good.
Yeah, he's feeling so good, and a long time he was waiting for this kind of performances, but on this track to see this kind of performance from George Russell, it was very big interesting. But as I said on the press conference video, it was a huge step for the new contract from the Mercedes. He showed everyone that, of course, everyone knew that he is so fast, but with this kind of car to have this kind of performance, and also as you know, Mercedes were struggling a lot at the hot conditions. It was very good and a solid result from the George Russell, and let's hope for him to win the race tomorrow, but it will be very, very difficult for him from the beginning of the race. Behind him is Max Verstappen, and of course there is also Oscar Piastri. It will be a very interesting race, but as I said, it was maybe the surprise of the day to see George Russell on a pole position for the tomorrow's race.
A lot of us had you down to get pole here today, considering how you've been performing so far, or in the last few races and this weekend as well. Was it the difference getting stuck behind Lando, or would it have been really close, do you think, in the end?
Well, first of all, I want to say that, of course, George did a very good lap. When I heard the lap time starting my lap, I knew that was a very good lap. But yeah, besides that, I think we had good pace. I was up on my final lap. But yeah, of course, what happens then in the final sector is a bit unfortunate. But I also don't want to make it bigger than it is. There's no need to go into detail here.
Yeah, like the pace was there, but it was never enough to have the pole position today. I think it doesn't matter Lando disturbed him or not. Just Russell's today's performance was very happy and very deserved pole position. But in the other hand, it's a good news that looks like Red Bull found that the perfect setup that suits the car, and to have this kind of pace, because as you know, Verstappen is never have here pole, and he was always struggling with downforce. But I think they have found that setup on the car, and he can have his full of performance of his car on the tracks like this, or on the tracks like Azerbaijan, and I believe that until the end of the season they are going to continue with this setup of the car. And if it came the chances to Verstappen to be the champion, I think it's a little bit impossible this year for the Verstappen to have the drivers' championship.
Against your teammate, you're ahead of him, but you've now got Max and George to contend with as well in trying to go for pole positions. So what was that session like, and was there any more left in the car today? Was it just not in the car?
I mean, I think there was a little bit left, but not enough to get pole. I think we seemed to be good through practice. We seemed pretty good in Q1, and then we found a little bit of time, and others found a lot of time. So a little bit kind of surprising that we couldn't find more than that. But ultimately, I don't think the car had enough in it for pole. So I'm pretty happy with the job I've done. Was it perfect? No, but I felt like it's just been a good weekend, and being close to the limit of what the car's been able to.
Yeah, it's interesting to see these kind of results from the McLarens, but for the Oscar Piastri, let's say he's keeping his advantage to be at the front of the Lando Norris, and he's the at the first place and the drivers' championship, and he has the huge gap between him and between Max Verstappen. I think third position is not too bad for him for today, but it's very interesting, and it's very surprising to see this kind of performance from the McLarens, to not to have pace, to not to have ability to be at the pole position, and I think they will struggle a lot also tomorrow for the.
So Williams in Q1, you had a lap deleted in Q2, and then you put that in Q3. That was quite the session for you today.
Yeah, let's say I like to make my life harder. Overall, I felt I had a real shot to at least front row, and just a shame because the car was there, and we had the pace, and I felt very strong. And but in Q3, I let my emotion, my emotion took over, because I was really excited, and I really felt it was possible, but then I didn't drive very well. I did way too many mistakes, and then I just started to drive tense because I wasn't doing clean laps. Lap 1 wasn't clean, and lap 2 was even worse. So just driving tense again, but this was a very good learning for the future.
You've had P4 now in 2 races in a row, difficult street track races where you really have to be committed and do well in the car. Does that not give you some confidence going forward?
No, for sure. I think it's we've been having a positive trend so far, and Monza we had a good quali, and then Baku again a strong quali, and then here again, up until Q2 was really good, looking very good. So I think now we've been having a positive trend. Also myself, I'm a bit more relaxed in the car, and I'm also focusing much more on the process, on what I have to do. Today's Q3 was another big learning for the future, and because sometimes just doing a little bit less brings you more. And I think today I just in Q3 I went beyond
the car potential and the grip potential. Was just asking too much, and just ended up doing too many mistakes.
Well, thank you. Go well tomorrow. Thanks.
Yeah, he looked very tired after that Q3. He was struggling today a little bit at the qualifying. He had a lot of unlucky moments. His lap got deleted, but at the end of the day, with that relaxing that he is 100% next year on a Mercedes, we saw full potential of his car and his skills. I think it's like Russell's perfect results. Also, Kimi Antonelli's results was very perfect for today. As you know, also his first time in here at the Singapore. But until the end of the season, I'm just expecting from the Kimi Antonelli these kind of results.
A really difficult session for you. I know you were on the radio saying it was a messy lap and then there were clutch issues. Just talk me through that, because P8 still looks really good to us. Was there more there?
Yeah, I mean, it's always easy to say there was a lot left on the table, but unfortunately there was, and it was an amazing lap, start of the lap, last attempt, and I lost it where I never lost it the whole weekend, so I just overdid it. And it's a shame because I really needed that. I felt like I could have done that special lap that would have put me up there. I'm looking at the lap times, I'm 3/10 away from third, and I'm...
You think that 3/10 was there in the car today? So
yes,
was it a moment or?
Yeah, I'm just not proud of my qualifying because I couldn't do a single good lap. I always did like a lap with a mistake, and obviously it's a very demanding track, but I've never put it together the whole session, so I'm not happy.
What do you do about that? Because I remember talking to you in Baku, and it was that turn 16 as well, and you were frustrated then. Can you go away and work with the team and help them to just get you in a good place for quali, where maybe you take it back a fraction to get the 2/10 rather than the 3? What do you think?
Yeah, but it's not how I see things. And when you're looking for a special lap, you gotta take risks and go in the unknown, and that's what I did, and it didn't pay off.
Races tomorrow, though. Thanks.
He looks very, very, very frustrated and very disappointed. He's right to put a lot of effort on a qualifying, to put a lot of effort, and at the end of the day you are P8. But you know that your car has more potential than that. I think it's a normal thing to hire the car, but he's doing a good job, and I think he just want that seat for the next year, that his old teammate is on that seat. We will see what will happen, but Isaac is doing a pretty solid job and very, very good job.
Ollie, thanks for joining us. We'll walk to your hospitality. I know it's hot work out there, but that was a great job. Well done. Q3 once again.
Yeah, really happy to be back. I feel like it's been a bit of a long time coming because it's been a few qualies where we've been really close, Monza, but also in Baku, I think we deserve to be in Q3 without my mistake. So it's the combination of the hard work of the team. We've been doing a really good job in these past few races, and happy with what we achieved today.
Well, what a place to do it as well, because I think it was in free practice 3 with Crofty on the comm saying, this, when it comes to qualifying, it's more about the driver than the car in many ways. So what a place to do it.
Yeah, certainly. It's a big challenge. The main thing is that it's a street track, but it's one of the only street tracks where the tires are overheating a lot through the lap, because generally in tracks like Monaco, Baku, first of all, of course, it's much cooler, but also, with this road surface, normally the tires, the deck is really low. But over this lap, you really feel the tires overheating a lot, which makes it really tough to set the car up for the entire lap and drive perfectly for the entire lap too.
And it looked like a pretty perfect lap from what I could see anyway. I know it's never perfect here, but it's got it close enough.
I'm happy with that.
In terms of tomorrow, views on that? I mean, you've done the easy bit. What about the hard bit tomorrow?
Yeah, it's a tough race. It's pretty clear strategically. It's a one-stop, so it means we have to be on top of that and make sure we don't get caught sleeping on both sides. But I'm happy that I managed to get some long-run laps in FP3. Because of course it was really interrupted in FP2, and generally I feel like the setup direction that we took has been more biased towards the race, which means hopefully we're in a good place for tomorrow.
Great. Well, go for it. Look forward to watching it.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, very good performance from him and his best career start to have that in a Singapore Grand Prix. I'm sorry. To have your best career start on a Singapore Grand Prix, I think it must feel very good for the Oliver Beeman. He's having very good performances this season, and I think also we are going to see good performances also for him next year.
Singapore is such that anywhere near the front of the grid is a good starting position. Obviously, you would have liked pole. Can you be satisfied with third?
Well, not satisfied. Obviously, we entered the qualifying session to achieve a pole position. But I think we see a pattern now whereby when we have lots of braking on bumps, curbs, we saw that in Canada, if you remember, we didn't have necessarily any magic in the car. We saw that in Baku, and we saw that in Singapore as well. So I think there's a pattern. We have to accept that in these track layouts, some other cars are very competitive. Fair enough. Well done to Mercedes. And still a good position for the race tomorrow.
Okay, so is that on one lap you're talking about, a single full out lap? Is it a different matter on terms of race pace? Because Oscar was clearly fastest of anybody consistently in the Friday. Well, I know we didn't have much Friday running, but
well, first of all, when we look at Friday, we need to be wary of what fuel you had on board in the long runs here because of the compromised timing in session. Not necessarily all cars were at the normal fuel that you have in practice. And then I think if we look back at Canada, Baku, again, not necessarily in the race we could capitalize on what's normally a good feature of the car. We also had very low degradation in Baku, low degradation to some extent in Canada. So we are ready for a fight, but I think this fight sees us in contention for the victory, certainly in contention for a podium finish. It's also a very important race for many reasons, and it's important that we are there.
yes, with the constructors on the line tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Thank you for explaining. Thank you.
Also, Stella is looking very surprised and very with a lot of questions on his head why the car is not performing as normal. They have some problem, and I think still also Stella don't know what is that problem. They will definitely solve it, but they are just trying to finish these hard, difficult Grand Prix with a limited damage to the points. But of course, definitely they will be much more faster than this one at the other races. And the good thing is that for them, Oscar is still in the third place, and he will have that advantage to win the Drivers' Championship, and also they are at the first place for the Constructors' Championship.
Around Singapore, tell us about the weekend. Talk us through the weekend so far.
It was very up and down. I think we had a strong pace on the FP1, even beginning of the FP2. Q1 was okay today, but then we lost a little bit the pace of everything. It's true that it's really on the edge, I think, for us, but not only for us, with the tires and the preparation. But even the last lap of Charles, that we were in a good shape until the last sector, and we lost everything in the last sector. But okay, let's be focused now on tomorrow to see what we can do. We will have opportunities for sure. The race will be long, and but even if it's not so easy to overtake in Singapore.
Okay. Obviously, George is on pole. They're your main Constructors' Championship rivals. Is the secret for tomorrow, see the checkered flag, rely on the drivers? No one has any long-run pace or knowledge, and just...
Yeah, we are all blind on this one, but it's the same for everybody. No, we didn't do FP2. It is like it is now. We have to be focused on tomorrow to try to get the best from this. Let's see the pace of everybody on the long stint. It will be key.
Thank you, Fred.
Yes, it will be key, the long stint, but they are just so far away. from the up places. They have a lot of drivers in front of them. The Ferrari struggle is continuing. The Ferrari's problems are continuing like last year, but they were, I think, a bit better than this year. We will see what will happen, but I don't believe that we'll see some miracle from the Ferrari or the other drivers. The fight will be at the first three places, what they are going to do.
George obviously had his little off yesterday. Today, struggling a little bit with the rear of the car into that same corner. You can just see it stepping out. And I'm guessing it's hurting his confidence a little bit. Do you know what you can do to help so we can have that little bit more confidence to fight, because it's so close up there?
I think interestingly at the end, he was the quickest through that corner. So in the last 2 laps. So I believe you just need to ramp your way back up and gain the confidence, and hopefully we are into Q3, and then this is the 2 laps that you need to nail and have the maximum confidence.
I just wonder how much it took out of the wind out of his sails yesterday. It doesn't look it at all, though, for George, when you see that he's within a half a tenth of Max Verstappen, as we have another look at it yesterday. I mean, obviously, a number of people lost a lot of time, didn't get their high fuel runs in, but this seems to be a feature of George this year, his resilience on a race weekend. Is that something that he's improved, he builds and sort of aims everything for Q3?
These mistakes can obviously happen if you push, and I think he did really well in putting the car into the wall straight, so just broke the nose and not took the 2 corners off, because it looked like if he takes it sideways, it's more damage. Yeah, he's so mature already, and he feels at ease with a car that is not easy to drive, and I think that is, has come over years now.
Well, yeah, imagine next year if he does get the car underneath him and he does stay with you, Toto, and I don't know if you're any close. Can we?
That would be great, wouldn't it?
You're here. I have to ask you, how near, how far?
Well, we are like super near.
Super near. Days, hours, minutes?
Something like that.
Okay.
So far, Kimi looks to have strong performance this weekend, and it's a track that he's not been to. Do you feel like he's come in with a different mentality maybe for that reason?
Yeah, I think since Baku we've seen a big focus. Certainly Europe hasn't helped, because there was so much attention on him, and expectations were so high, and I feel that he has just less work outside in terms of media duties and maybe sponsorship duties, and he's spending all of his time with his engineering team, and that's good.
Just go back to Jamie's point on Kimi and what you said to him after Monza, saying, look, it was an underwhelming weekend. He seemed to respond to that. Maybe he could have been one place higher in Baku potentially if it all went his way. And then this weekend too, does he respond well when you come out and say these things? How are you kind of massaging that relationship between the pair?
I think it's a learning process also with Kimi to what he responds well, and we've always encouraged him, and even encouraged to make mistakes, because this is the last year of these regulations. All the other drivers got used to these cars. It's his first year. He doesn't know the track. He doesn't know all of this world. So for next year, everybody starts with zero, with a car that you need to learn. And in that respect, I think he's just doing a good job, and it seems to have worked to get a little bit of fire under the arse. So we'll see.
But are you seeing the flashes in the pan of speed? Are you seeing something that makes you think that he could be a generational talent, or definitely fighting for world championships in the future, in the data, whatever it is? At least putting him on a level with George, who's obviously having a very good year.
I mean, this is a very high level already. If you look at George and Max, the skills are so high, and there's a few others that fall into that bracket. I think actually making into that group would be a success. The junior track record is phenomenal. It's the best probably that we've seen since 10 years in go-karting, exceptional. But Formula 1 is a different ballgame.
Yeah, this interview was before the practice 3. We had a good messages for the George Russell. Maybe they were for the new contract days to have that for the George Russell, but after his qualifying performance today, I think maybe it will be a couple of hours to announce that contract that will be together for the Mercedes for long years. And of course, before this interview, we had Toto that told Kimi Antonelli will be 100% next year in a Mercedes. They have a good driver duo, and I think with a good car we will watch a very good and very interesting races with the Mercedes.